Hi, welcome to this scarf tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make quite a simple chunky scarf. I'm going to use a size 6.5mm hook, quite a chunky hook, and also some really chunky wool as well. It's this Pattern's Fab Big wool, and it's a bit difficult to see, but it's in like an aubergine purple colour. Actually, at the moment, Hobbycraft are doing 3 for 2 on wool, so it's a good time to buy anything if you want to get some supplies. Okay, let's find the end here and I'll show you how to get started. So to get started, we just need to make our slip stitch. So we've got a tail left at the end. Leave quite a long tail because that can be one of your tassels at the end of the scarf. So you've got a tail there. Pop your hook into the loop, like so. This will actually grow quite quickly. It's one of the good things about doing a chunky scarf. So to start with, you need to decide how wide you want the scarf to be. So really, there's no sort of set pattern for this. It's completely up to you. Just sort of work with it, make some chains and see how you get on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Might do it a little bit wider than that. 14, 15. Maybe one more for good luck, because if you remember, the first stitch actually doesn't count. So we've got 16 there. In order to get started with this pattern, the way I do it, just for a neat end, is to do a row of double crochet, and like I say, it just makes the end quite neat. So if you remember, if I showed you on the tutorial before, with this dark wool it's a little bit difficult to see. I don't know if you can see, I've got a white background to try and help, but if you remember, we actually ignore the stitch closest to the loop and start on the second stitch away from the loop. So to do a double crochet, you insert the hook into the loop, making sure that you've got 2 loops on the top, pull your wool through, and then pull a loop through both. So that's your first one. Bearing in mind we started with 16 chains, we'll expect to have 15 stitches. So that's your first. I'll show you a few more and then I'll do the rest off camera. Number 2. Insert your hook, pull a loop through. So you've got 2 loops on the top, pull a loop through. That's 3, 4. I'll do the rest off camera. Okay, so we've got our 15 double crochets going across here. You'll see when you do it, it starts to curl up a little bit, but don't worry about that, it will straighten up. You can actually carry on doing this scarf all in double crochet if you wanted to. It will take a lot longer though, and the stitch will actually be quite tight at the end of it, which with this chunky yarn isn't really the best look, I don't think, but it's personal preference, so whichever you prefer. But I'm going to carry on and do the rest of the rows now in triple crochet. So if you remember before, we were saying that because it's a triple crochet you need 3 stitches. If you started from the beginning you would have left 3 stitches at the end and started further down, but we can't obviously leave 3 stitches here to start this row, so we kind of have to create them. So to do that, you chain 3, and this is how you change rows. Then you turn your work over and you triple crochet in all the available stitches along the row. So the first one to find is actually a bit tricky. It's not the one you initially think it's going to be, because that gap kind of belongs to this arm that we've just created, which is like your first stitch. So you actually start in the next one here. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull a loop through, so you've got 3 loops on your hook, bring through 2 and bring through 2. So you've got your first 2 stitches there. Doesn't look like much at the minute, but just persevere with it. So keep going for the remaining row. So you've got 2 there, so we're going to have another 13. I'll show you all of these, but quite quickly. So this is number 3. And then number 4. 5. The first row is the worst one because, like I say, while it's all curling up, but once you've done that, it does get better. 6. 7. 8. Get a bit more wool through here. So yarn over into the stitch, pull through, loop through the first 2 and through the next 2. So 9, 10, so we should have 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, and now the last stitch is often the trickiest one because it can be quite difficult to see. Again, with this wool, it's not ever so easy. You can't really get it too wrong. As long as you make sure you go right into the corner, you should be fine. But yarn over just the same and kind of work your hook in sort of right into the corner there and make sure that you've got your 2 loops still on the top. There we go, so I've just about done it there. It is tricky and it does create a bit of fiddling, but if you get it wrong, then just undo it and try again. So pull your wool through, loop, and there you go, there's your first row, well, second row really. You've done a row of double crochet and then a row of triple crochet. So to change rows again, it's much the same as before. This is what you'll do now for the rest of the scarf. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This creates your first stitch effectively. Turn your work over. Don't go into this gap here because that is the gap for the stitch you've just created. So you actually want to go into this one here and create your next triple crochet. So I'll do some off camera and come back to you. Okay, so I've just got to come into the end of my 4th row of triple crochet, so my 1 row of double and then my 4th row of triple. So you can see how it grows quite quickly. So you just literally carry on for as many rows as you want to. A scarf I did previously, I think I did over 100 rows, but this is much chunkier wool, so it might not take as much, but you just have to see how long you want it to be. I just wanted to show you though, which I didn't really show you before, once you've actually sort of done a few rows and you're going into this last stitch, I've only done 14 here, this is my 15th stitch that I need to do. It is a bit difficult to see, but when you actually look at it, you can see that there are 3, in this hole, there are 3 sort of threads of yarn. I really wish I'd chosen a different colour, I'm sorry. But as long as you make sure that you're going into the gap with your 2 threads on top of the hook like you always do, you should be in the right place. And you'll know because you'll pull it, when it pulls up, you'll know that it's kind of gone in a straight line. So you can see that that has gone in a straight line across there. You've got a few sort of gaps, but obviously that's the pattern. So you see that there's a straight line at the end, and these will sort of kind of fill in a little bit as you work your way through the scarf. So carry on doing as many rows as you want to, like I say, around 100, use that as a guide, but just keep going until it's long enough for you. And then much the same as how we started this scarf with a row of double crochet, I would end it with a row of double crochet. So I'll show you how to do that again, but obviously I'll undo it and carry on growing this scarf. So just imagine we've got your completed scarf here. All you do to do your double crochet, same as before, but you just chain 1 like so, turn your work over, and then just carry on but with a double crochet instead of a triple. So don't go into this first gap, go into this one. So just enter your hook, pull your loop through, and then pull through, and just carry on all the way across. And that, I just think, finishes everything off and makes it all nice and neat. So if you work through your scarf, and then I will do another video at a later date with some embellishments, so showing you how to do the tassels, or if you want to make some flowers to go on the scarf, or obviously you can just leave it as it is. The other tip as well is what something I used to do before I found this chunky yarn. You can see that finish there is quite nice. And it creates sort of a different effect depending on the colours you use, is use 2 strands of thinner normal thickness yarn together and just do it exactly the same, but just obviously knot them together at the beginning when you do your slip stitch and work them through and make sure you do pull both obviously both threads of yarn through together at the same time, and that can create quite a good effect as well. So work through your scarf patterns, and like I say, I'll show you some embellishments in a later video.